Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Michele Katz, founder of the Plus One Adoption Foundation, putting on another Brightside Live. And I have a very special guest today, my eldest, my daughter, Mira. So she had a very interesting experience this summer. She was adopted at 4 months old from Colombia. And this summer, she got an internship at the orphanage that she came from. So we thought it might be a really cool experience to see and listen to what her experience was like. So tell us about, your interest first in going to Colombia.
I've always wanted to go. I really enjoy learning about where I come from. My mom taught me Spanish, so it's nice to know that I can kind of talk to the people there and and just kind of form a deeper connection with it on this trip. So I just like learning how about the music, the dancing, the language, just how people go about their daily lives in Colombia, just because it's similar but different than in the US.
So how did you even get connected up again with the orphanage?
We've always kept in touch with one of the directors there. He doesn't work there anymore, but his mom was the founder of CRAN, the orphanage that I'm from, and so he kind of gave us the current director's email, and I started talking to her about hey, I'm coming on a trip. Would I be able to volunteer? And that's kind of where it all started.
And so what did you do while you were there? And it was for a month.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of activities were you involved in?
So the majority of the time I was teaching the kids English, because they were all very interested that I live in the United States and that I know English. And then I would also do some arts and crafts with them, so it was really fun too.
Yes, and you have always loved arts and crafts.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're with these kids. How old are they?
They are from 2 to 13 years old. I spent the most of my time with the older kids, so I guess kindergarten age to the end of elementary school.
And while you were there, you had a particular group, a sibling group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 4 kids that were staying together, being adopted together to a U.S. family. And I remember that you were spending extra time with
mm-hmm.
them, getting them prepped
mm-hmm.
for their life in the U.S. So what kind of activities did you do to prep them?
We would just start off, they actually had this little matching game with pictures, and then on the little pictures under it was the word in Spanish and then also in English. So we would play that, and then I would also read books to them in English, and then we would kind of just go and make lists of different things, of words that they might need to know. So school supplies, rooms in the house, different types of clothing.
Food, perhaps? Food?
No, not
Didn't
food.
cover food,
No,
okay.
but we did, they had a little booklet,
Okay.
just of different locations of their house, of their town that they're going to be in. So I kind of covered that stuff too, of what's a pool, what's just the school called, stuff like that. And they really enjoyed it. They were very into it the whole time, so they were very excited.
So when you told kids there
mm-hmm.
that you were from there, and not only Colombian born, but that you actually came from CRAN, your adoption came through them, I mean, how did they react?
They all thought it was really cool. I mean, their faces all kind of lit up, really? You're just not some random person from the United States? So they just thought it was so cool, and that also helped me bond with them more, them knowing that I'm also a part of the foster care system, that
mm-hmm.
Really got me to bond with them more, and level of trust in me grew because they knew that I was like them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can come to me for all of their problems and stuff, and not just surface level.
Being there, spending your time on the grounds, being surrounded with Spanish, just the whole culture, Colombian culture. I mean, how did that feel for you? I mean, you were, our adoption story was, from your infancy.
Mm-hmm.
But how was it for you being back there in that way? We had been actually on a couple trips, so you do have some memories later in life. But just kind of being back in that setting, how'd you feel?
There were definitely times where it's kind of emotional, like walking through CRAN, like seeing the kids, even like landing in Colombia. It's kind of just like,
and by yourself,
by
mind
myself,
you.
yeah. So
always as you've been with us.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like just very emotional, a lot of mixed emotions, like, oh, like I'm actually here. It's not just something that we've talked about for a long time, like I'm being able to see these places more than just a few hours, things like that. So there were times where it was kind of emotional and maybe a little overwhelming, but like most of the time I was very excited. And like just, I guess I honestly felt more energetic there because I was so excited to all like do all these different things, the tourist things, the locals, like what the locals do, like this whole everything, like being able to do anything and everything.
You were living there.
Yeah, so I was very excited and I had a lot more energy to have to do so much throughout my day. So
it's good, you needed it. From what you told me, it's very hilly.
Yeah.
CRAN's very hilly. So, I mean, what about connecting with biological family? Like, what was, or maybe back up, what was kind of your mission there? Because 18 years old, because adoptions were closed, and they're closed, that at 18 years old, your file is then available to you, right? So, what were your missions there, and how did that relate also to biological family?
I guess just this whole trip in general, like, and specifically, like, trying to get your records and stuff, you really have to start thinking early, and kind of preparing yourself a lot earlier for, like, all the different emotions that you can possibly feel. So, like, finding my records, I didn't know like what would be on there specifically, so I had to prepare myself for like, what if there's really nothing that they gave in my records, and I didn't really know more, or that I get so much stuff. So you really kind of have to start thinking a little early and preparing yourself mentally for a long time. It's not just like you pack up, you go, and you'll be okay. But I mean, yeah, so definitely one of my missions was getting my records from ICBF,
which is the government agency. So even though we adopted Mira through a private agency, at some point the records get transferred to the government agency.
Yeah, so
okay.
That was one of my missions. Another mission was to get my cedula, which is our ID, our government ID. So very simple, honestly.
Much simple if you're there.
Yeah, then here
to get
trying
it,
to
then
do all that work.
Right. And what is the cedula?
It's essentially like your just ID. It's the way people identify you, if you're shopping, like, oh, can I see your cedula? So it's just like a driver's license.
So it's a state ID.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
So that was another mission, and then I kind of my last main mission was just going around the neighborhood of CRAN, seeing what it was like, seeing the area, possibly taking photos of the hospital that I was from, like obviously I was at CRAN, so just
and we have photos from prior trips we visited before,
but it's always
this one was different.
Yeah, it's always nice to revisit.
Yeah.
So just taking pictures of like places that I know of, and kind of revisiting those things was also a part of my mission.
So something not a part of your mission, but ended up cropping up was an accidental meeting of biological family. So how was that for you? 'Cause that you were not expecting.
Yeah, no. It was I was very emotional. You know, they were very emotional too. You know, it was not something I expected, but something that I've always thought about. That's kind of going back to what I was saying, like, you kind of have to prepare yourself mentally for all of the unexpected, because we didn't expect this, but I've been mentally ready, like, what if I run into someone on the street that looked familiar to me?
Which is kind of what happened. You want to kind of explain how it went down? Your recon mission?
Colombia, or at least Bogota, changed their addresses about 10 years ago, so I was kind of wandering up and down the street trying to be like, trying to find the house that my birth family, or at least my birth mom, lived in. And so I was kind of just taking pictures of different people's houses. There was like a corner store, and I was like, hey, I had a picture of some people in my birth family. I was like, do you recognize any of these people? And they were like, yeah, I do.
Because you were trying to figure out which house, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was still just taking pictures of all the houses, and they kind of were outside just being like, do you need something? And I was just like, oh, yeah, like, I kind of had to, like, be honest and because it's kind of awkward of, like, a random person you've never seen before
this
taking
is all in
pictures.
Spanish, by the way, keep in mind, okay?
It's awkward seeing just a random person you've never seen before take pictures of a bunch of houses on your street. And so I kind of was just like, you know, like, this is my birth name, this is, like, I'm the daughter of so-and-so, so, it was very emotional.
But how'd you have all that information? That was from the file we maintained. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went there, you had that information so that from us, well, you know, from your file at home. Not the official file, but from the notes we took from back at that time.
So the adoption files from when I was initially adopted, there was an address,
last known address,
you know, first, last name, and my birth mother actually made a photo album of her family, so that's where I got those pictures from, and I knew the names of basically my whole family, which is really nice. So it was coincidentally my grandmother's birthday, so she was super emotional.
Well, who was in the when you went to the store on the corner, right? And they overheard you, right? There were some people there who overheard. So who were the family members that overheard you talking to the clerk?
My birth mother's sister, so my aunt, and then she lives with my grandmother and my great-grandmother.
Right, and right, and so that they happened to be there, right, picking something up for the birthday party, right, or something. Were they there for? They were there for a reason.
They were just there.
They were picking up something, and it was all three of them, right?
No,
just the aunt, just the aunt. Oh, okay. I thought the grandma was there too. Then, okay, so then. What was your aunt's reaction? She must have been so shocked.
Yeah, so she was just very shocked, kind of weirded out as to why I was asking random people who...
before she realized
it was me. But yeah, I mean, very shocked. They let me in, and...
You went to the house?
Yeah, I went to the house.
This is right next door.
Okay. It was very nice to see, like, the house that I essentially was born in, and, you know, like, really, like, meet my birth family. And it wasn't in my plan, it wasn't in our plan at all, so it was very coincidental, and very emotional, I will say. I've never felt the way I felt that day.
Can you describe it?
Like, it was overwhelming feeling of, like, I'd say joy, a lot of nervousness, anxiety, just because I wasn't prepared. I was prepared, but at the same time, I wasn't ready to meet them that day.
Mm-hmm.
So just a lot of mixed emotions. Nothing bad, but just different emotions mixed together. I was very, very like shaking, very anxious, because it's like, this is my birth family, the people I've been trying to find for half my life or more.
Well, not finding, but you were waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting. Because we knew that it was going to be after 18 we would do the trip. So we knew that. But not in that day.
Yeah.
Not in this trip. Pretty incredible. So your birth mom was not there. She does not live there. And so kind of tell us like what you were thinking then, because, you know, and we were talking a lot, like multiple times a day and messaging, you know, because now that you've met certain members of your family, it's not fair not to talk, at least in some capacity, to your birth mom.
Yeah.
Right? So then take us through what happened next.
So my aunt, she gave me the phone number to my birth mom, and I have an older sister who I didn't know about.
Did know about. Mm-hmm.
And so I got both of their numbers, and I kind of told my aunt, I was like, you know, if they want to reach out, like, that's totally okay.
Which of course they did.
Which they did. They were very excited to meet me. They actually asked if I can meet them in person the next day, but I wasn't ready for that. It was just, everything happened so suddenly that, you know, I didn't know if I'd be like ready mentally, physically, emotionally to meet them. And also I didn't want to meet them alone, just because my parents have always, and my whole family have always been a part of my adoption story and have helped me through, especially this trip, like organizing it, like, so I wanted to meet them with my parents alongside me. So, I haven't met them, but in person, but we did, once I returned from the trip, do a FaceTime call with them.
Yeah, so who was all there?
It was me, you, and Dad. And then, it was my birth mom, my sister, and then her husband. And we were kind of just talking on the phone, getting to know each other a little bit.
It was a long call, actually.
Yeah, it lasted maybe an hour.
Yeah, I think so. All in Spanish for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So that was great. It was good practice for all of us, and I mean, what an incredible experience. I mean, Daddy and I, we were very touched that you wanted to wait and have us all. We would have been fine, whatever you decided. But we were very touched that you wanted us to meet her at the same time. Truly. That meant a lot to us. So, you know, when people say that adoption is a lifelong journey, what does that mean to you?
I mean...
And do you agree?
I guess so. I mean, it's such a big part of your identity when you're adopted, that, like, it's never really going to go away, you know?
Nor should it, right? I mean, that's just, everyone's got their journeys, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, to me, it's always been a big part of my life, and even now that I've met my birth family, they're still in my life. They're going to be in my life. So it's not like me being adopted has changed anything. So I mean, it's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. It's not something you can change. So I mean, it's always going to be a lifelong journey, whether you decide to meet your birth family or you don't, or you know, you don't really want anything to do with where you're, like, your background and stuff like that. It's still going to be a part of you, whether somebody likes it or not. So,
well, so looking back, what's one thing you wish adoptive parents understood about what it's like to grow up adopted? Like me and Daddy, for example.
I will say one thing is that it doesn't necessarily matter how good of a life you have or how young adopted you are. Every kid is going to think about their birth families and what it would be like to be there, and like kind of those what if questions. And to kind of, you never did this, but I'm saying like just in general, if another kid is thinking of these things, don't hold it against them, because it's a natural thing for somebody that's adopted to think about, is to think about their birth family. And I guess the best thing you can do is be open with the information you have about their birth family, and like give a good space to allow them to talk about how they feel. Don't try to be like, oh, well, you have this life now, because it's not really going to change the fact that they're thinking about their birth families. But yeah, I mean, just know that no matter what, they're going to, a part of them, big or small, will always think about their biological families. So,
and I think when you were growing up, we always let you be the driver. So we wouldn't necessarily bring things up. We waited for you to ask questions, and then to the extent we could answer, we'd answer. And when we didn't know, we still would address. That's frustrating. I wish we knew that, but we don't have that information.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it also depends on how much information each family has. I was lucky to have a whole photo album, a lot of information given, but somebody else might not have that much information or anything at all. So it's also very personalized. If you have more than one adopted child, or there's more than one adopted child in your life, like a cousin, niece, nephew, just friend's child, whatever, it's not going to be the same journey and the same experience for every person. Like, I have adopted friends that don't really care about meeting their birth families or even going to their home countries, whereas I have other friends that really want to go. So I mean, it's really different, and don't generalize one person's experience to everybody else, because everybody's their own person.
Absolutely. So now, being a legal adult, tell us what you've already learned and experienced about adoption, and then what advice based on that would you give to other adoptees, especially those who might be curious about exploring their roots?
I will say that the process to get your records is very, very long and a little annoying. So don't expect, if you want to get your records, don't expect it to happen in like a week or two. I think I'm still waiting for my records to be fully uncovered.
Yes, but that's, yeah. So you started the process, made it easier for you to start that process in Colombia, but we are waiting to receive them in the nearest consulate here in Chicago, where we live. Yeah.
So it takes a while.
So patience, but if you're gonna do it, maybe don't wait, because it's a long process. Get going on it. But I would say we tried at least looking into starting it abroad, and I think it was easier.
It was a lot easier.
You get more direction. We had more help in country. Yeah. Someone who was able to help us navigate, which +1 adoption, certainly if it's Colombia, depending on where, we may be able to help also connect you with liaisons to help. So just throwing that out there. I'm so proud of you for going on this adventure on your own. We had eyes and ears on the ground there, of course, and we're very thankful to them. But you really did something that you wanted to do and had planned and executed on your own, with assistance, but on your own. And so we're very proud of you, and also for sharing your story. That's huge and highly personal. And we're just so proud that you want to share it, and you're proud of all of your family, both here and your biological family in Colombia. I found your words just very encouraging for adoptive parents, because I think we get scared we're going to lose our kids, but also for adoptees to know that, other people have had success stories. You can too, if that's something you're interested in. And hopefully it'll encourage everyone to communicate. I think that's the biggest thing is talk to your parents. Parents, talk to your kids if it's something that they want to do when they're mature enough to do it. And even though we had an incremental stage plan, well,
things can always go sideways.
And that's not always a bad thing. But it worked out, thankfully, and we're so happy it did. So thank you, Mira. Thanks to all listening, interested in the Brightside Lives, and feel free to share, like, comment. Thanks to everyone who listened now or when this gets posted to the grid. And we are starting something new based on Mira's story, and we're going to be calling it, it'll be Adoption Story MR for Mira's initials. And each episode will highlight a different part of her journey from her return to Colombia to meeting her birth family and reflecting on what adoption means to her today. So thanks, everybody. And if you're interested in helping Plus One with our mission, which is to provide credible, vetted resources that relate to adoption, please check us out online at www.plusoneadoption.org. Also, of course, we have content on Instagram like these Brightside Lives, and we look forward to connecting with you. You can DM us through Insta, or you can email us through the website. Thank you for being a part of the Plus One community.